Hi, I'm Mishti Max and I'm here to share this curly hair tutorial on 3 strand twists. This is a technique for styling naturally curly hair that results in these smooth and shiny ropes of hair and can be kept on for quite a number of days. I left my twists in for about a week and my hair was actually a lot less knotty than usual when I finally washed my hair and took them out. This is a protective style, meaning that it can increase your growth by helping reduce your breakage, but I just wear it because I think it looks pretty darn killer. The products and tools you will need for this hairstyle are a styling product that helps with frizz and can even be a gel-like product. I have a few options. This Weedad Curl Define and Shine Curl Styling Gel Cream with Moisture Lock is one that I haven't tried but seems good, and I have a little sample of it here. The next one I have is the Alpha Puff Semidelino Diamante Illuminating Design Gel, which I used to use back in the day, and it actually has some hold to it. And the product that won the prize today is the Natural Look Wavelength Curling Balm, which smooths down the hair really nicely and smells quite good, and it's fantastic for frizziness. I will also be using water in a spray bottle so I can keep re-wetting my hair as I work on each section, which I got from my beauty supply store, and a fine tooth comb to smooth down the hair and my large toothed comb for detangling. I will also be prepping my hair with some of my favorite products to keep the moisture in and my locks healthy. I have all the products listed on my blog linked in the description box. I start with freshly cleansed and conditioned hair with the usual products. You can see my tutorial for that method linked in the description box or in the card above. After that process, I wrapped up my hair in this Rolling Stones do-rag to soak up some of the moisture, and as I take it down you can see that it's not dripping wet and is nice and unknotty. For some moisture, I added some macadamia natural oil, healing oil. I poured some out into my palm and distributed it by rubbing my hands together, then combed it through my hair with my fingers. Then for even more moisture for my tresses, I took out the Moroccan Oil Curl Defining Cream and pumped out a healthy handful of the styling product and slathered that all over, making sure that I comb thoroughly through my hair. And for the twists, the first thing I do is to smooth down my hair with this fine tooth comb to lay down all the hairs next to each other and make it easier to manipulate them. I also spray it with water to keep it moist enough to take the style and not form its natural curl. Then I take the comb and separate out the section I want to twist and comb it through well, making sure it's neat at the scalp with no extra hairs flying all over the place. Today I went with the Natural Look Wavelength Curling Balm. For its frizz maintenance, I hold my hand at the end of the sectioned out hair and pour a decent amount of the product into my palm. I rub my hands together to distribute it evenly and smooth it down through the hair using the tips of my fingers to thoroughly coat it and keeping the excess in my palm. I finger comb and smooth down the hair till the hair feels flat and aligned, and then I separate that section into 3 equal parts, making sure I get all the shorter hairs, and then begin a regular plait at the scalp. I'm beginning my plait away from my face since that's the direction I will be doing the twist. You want to do this relatively tight because it's the anchor for your twist, but only make the plait a couple of inches long. When you are ready to start your twist, take note of the 3 strands and think of them as having a flat axis. Now hold the strand that is towards the back of your head and pull it under the hair towards the front. Then place that strand into your other hand. Repeat this step by taking the new strand that is now at the back and pulling it under the twist closest to your face, taking it towards the front, then you hand over that strand to your other fingers. Keep going in the same motion and picture in your mind always taking the back strand around past your face and towards the front, like you see here. I like to keep the hair tight, but not so hard I'm strangling it, but I find I get a better result if I twist my hair as much as possible all the way down to the end. When I get to the end of a twist, I take more product in my palm and run it through the tips of the hair. I also press some product around down the twist, and I twirl the end around my finger in the same direction as the twist to make sure it looks neat. You can get a little curler and wrap the end of the hair around it to make sure it sets in a nice spiral if you'd like. I like to start with the front sections first and get them as even as possible because they're the ones I see the most and they frame your face. The tricky thing with the other side of your head is that you have to do everything backwards. As you can see, I had to replat this section a couple of times and think about which way I was going to run the strands, because otherwise you'll be undoing the plait when you do the twist and it doesn't really work. I know it sounds confusing, but once you do it, you will figure it out. And it's easy to learn by watching. This kind of twist holds itself in place if your hair is curly enough, and you don't have to tie anything around the end. And it's kind of like making a rope. I also flip sections of my hair over to the other side of my head to keep them out of the way, but you can also use sectioning clips if you prefer. No matter what part of your head you're twisting, all the steps are the same. I make sure my hair is wet enough, sprayed with the water, I coat it in plenty of product, comb it through with my fingers and the fine tooth comb to prepare it. Then I separate that hair into 3 strands and plait it tightly close to the scalp for about an inch, and then begin the process of the twist. Use your fingers to your advantage and hold the strands wherever you can in between your fingers, and with practice you will get a technique that makes it quicker and easier. I change around between a few different ways of holding the strands and swapping them between my fingers, which you can see here in these close-up shots. And once you get going, you get a rhythm that makes it go faster, and it's not so hard. As I said, it may look confusing, but either way you do it, you've just got to take the strand from one side of the twist and then wrap it around to the other side and place it in your other hand, then repeat the motion and just keep going in the same direction. This is a sticky process and you will pretty much goop up anything you touch until you're finished with your hair. So make sure you keep a towel on your lap so you can wipe your hands off, and you're wearing a t-shirt that you don't mind getting product all over. I try and match up the sections on my scalp, especially around the part, so they're even. Towards the back, I take slightly larger sections for thicker twists, and they're not always the same size as the other side, but that doesn't matter because the overall effect is still pretty cool. The back of your head can be tricky, but you just have to visualize in your head and picture the strands as if they were on a flat surface. Just picture the strands going around in the direction you want the twist to flow. I start with my arms behind my head to make sure the top of the twist will lay in the proper direction against my scalp, but then I bring the hair forward and complete the twist in front of me because it's easier on the arms. Just make sure you keep twisting in the same direction in respect to the hair, because otherwise you'll just untwist it like I did a couple of times. But it's always done in the same way, taking one strand to the other side of the twist, going under the section of the hair and handing it over to the other side. Depending on how much hair you have, this can take quite a long time, but it is a style you can keep for many days, and it's pretty cool to do once in a while. You can also make the twists fatter and larger, which will make the hairstyle quicker to do. I do vary the size of the twists myself, keeping small ones around the front and doing some of the larger ones at the back of my head. It's up to you how much you want to grab to make a twist and how chunky you want to make it. Your main goal is to make sure that you pick up every piece of your hair and make it a part of a twist somewhere on your head and not leave any of it out. But if you find a tiny section that you've missed, you can make it into a mini twist or even plait it so it flows with the overall look of the hairstyle and isn't a little frizzy bit randomly sticking out. As far as the product you are using on your hair, it can be a gel-based product, but the main thing is to reduce frizz and make it cooperate with you, plus to make the look all shiny and smooth. The product I'm using leaves the twists nice and soft and they're not crunchy at all, which I rather like. If you are using a gel-like product, the next day when it's dried, you can crunch up and squeeze the twists, and that should lose some of the stiffness of the gel, but it depends how you like it. And here's my hair when I'm done with it. So when you're finished playing with your entire head of hair and compressing it into this kind of stringy, soggy mess, you may be thinking, this doesn't look so great. But have no fear, when your hair dries, the twists puff out and take up a bit more space to look rather cool, and sort of like neat twirly dreadlocks kind of thing. Here are the twists a couple of hours later and looking better already. I let them air dry and don't like to put a hairdryer anywhere near this style because it will make it more frizzy, especially around the top where you've tried to neaten it up with the plaits. And the next day you will have a bit more fluff and bounce to your hairdo, as I said, and this is what mine looks like at day 1. I wore these 3-strand twists for a few days, and I have some shots from day 3 when I went to a festival, and it held up pretty well. And this is day 4, which was actually the second day of the festival. And I even pulled the twists back in a ponytail on the 6th day when it started to get a bit fuzzy. And there we have it. Here's some tips that should help you with this curly hairstyle, and hopefully teach you how to do this fun do. As I said, this is a protective style which bundles up the hair so it doesn't rub up against objects in your clothing and that kind of thing, which can reduce breakage and actually in the long run give you longer hair. Because if you've got curly hair, you know the main problem is actually losing length off your ends, not so much the fact that it doesn't actually grow. You can find all the details for the products used in this tutorial on my blog, linked in the description box. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed this curly hair tutorial, and don't forget to subscribe for more videos. Also check out my band and podcast on iTunes. Click the little boxes if you want to see other tutorials of mine.